Hey everyone, my name is Nick, and this is Chip Chat. Thanks for tuning in. Today is our second episode. So, what I wanted to do is kind of go back and do a review of a classic plain old potato chip that I'm sure all of you have had. And that's going to be Lay's Classics. But before we crack this open, I guess I'd talk a little more about why I want to do that. So, first of all, just giving ourselves a sort of, barometer here. I can talk about this, and if you know where I stand on this, that can help kind of inform future chip chats if you know my thoughts on these, Lay's classic chips that I'm sure you've all had many times. But also because it's probably been a long time since I've had these. And I have been doing some reflecting lately. Not about chips. I like chips and all, but I wasn't really reflecting on them. More in a personal way. Just, and I'm being, honest here, just like, thinking about the type of person I am, the type of person I've been in the past. It's something I try to think about often and see how I can improve as a human being. And recently, a few weeks ago, my little sister got married. And I saw a lot of relatives, a lot of family members that I hadn't seen in 10 years, some I think close to, I hadn't seen in close to 20 years. And so the combination, I guess, of, having my little sister get married, and that was its own, not that this was the first time it happened, but just a sense of oh wow, you are an adult now. And I have been an adult in some form for a while. And then seeing all these relatives that I hadn't seen since, like I said, 10, 20 years, it got me thinking about how I've spent my time, and how I've maybe, not taken opportunities to connect with people or stay in touch with people, as I maybe should have. And things, people or events that I maybe, brushed off and said, I'm not gonna make time for that. I'm not gonna go to that family holiday or whatever the case may be. And to some degree now, kind of looking at I don't know, at myself or those people, and saying I don't know, what was my problem, So this does connect to chips, I promise. It comes back around. Because I guess, part of my point is I've realized in doing this reflecting from these recent events, I've sort of realized it's okay to go back home, as they say. I think that's using the expression correctly. I'm not positive. But yeah, it's okay to I don't know, go back and find a connection or find something, meaning of some kind, maybe, in a place where maybe you thought it wasn't, thought you wouldn't find anything, or thought maybe you were past a point, or past you were past a thing, and now you realize, oh, maybe there's something else there for me that I didn't really give a fair chance. So with that, I thought the best sort of parallel to that personal experience and the wonderful world of potato chips would be to go back home and eat these Lay's classic plain old potato chips. So here we go. There's a couple chips. Okay. I mean, these are as described. They are classic potato chips. And, they're good. I would say, excuse me, these are like, these make me want like a sandwich that is like, like a Dagwood sandwich that's like 5 slices of bread and it's like stacked, super high and has an olive on top. This makes me want those. Some pickles, or, maybe backyard barbecue and these. But they're that type of classic potato chip that is, there's not much to it. It's very straightforward. It has, honestly, I was kind of expecting it to be way too salty or way too oily. They're not. If you, once you start getting kettle chips and other more artesian chips, you don't get chips quite like this as often. Like real thin, and they are fairly oily, I guess, but not in an unpleasant way. I don't know, it's not like, or not like if you get chips from a restaurant or a bar sometimes, and they do their own chips, and they're like way too fried, and they're like, the chips are very dark, and they have just like absorbed way too much fryer oil. These are not that level of oily. They're just, there's, more oil on my fingers than maybe most chips. Or, most craft chips or whatever. I don't know how you want to call them. Not Frito-Lay's you know, company chips. They're pretty small. Like, I'm having a hard time, I would say, you know, average chip size is on the smaller size than I would prefer. You know, I like a big chip. And if you want a big chip, you're gonna be hard pressed to find it here. But that being said, perfectly good Lay's classic. Yeah, you know, nothing to write home about. But I'm glad that we had this experience. Yeah, so, you know, next time, you know, if I'm to tie it back to my earlier little story there, I would say next time I'm offered some Lay's classics, or I don't know, if I am given a choice between Lay's classics and something else, I won't turn my nose at them, because it's a fine chip, and it's probably you know, there's a reason why the Lay's classics are the classics that they claim to be. I think that's a, you know, pretty, I think they've backed up that claim, I think. So yeah, just remember, you know, it's never too late to revisit the past in your personal life and at the chip table, or the chip, in the chip something, wherever you keep or enjoy chips, wherever that may be for you and yours. So thank you for joining me. Lay's classic potato chip, pretty good chips. See you later.